Most admired country is China.
I didn't hear him say the most admired country was China. That's what the Conservatives said. He said he admired a lot of the things the Chinese had accomplished. He didn't say it was his most admired country. I mean, I think, look, a lot of the comments he's made have been inflated.
A lot of politicians like to be liked. He likes to have his tweets liked, and he likes to have his messages retweeted and shared, and it seems to be singularly focused on adulation.
As more and more people go away from the man who likes to take selfies everywhere and starts to look at the leader that they currently have, the Canadian leader that they have, and understand that he still struggles to understand issues, struggles to understand policies, and quite frankly, although obviously he'll get, his feet are wet, he'll get grasp of the job as time goes along, he still doesn't look like an effective leader, not only to people on the right, but also lots of people on the left, not even just necessarily NDP supporters. I think that over time, what they're going to have to do is either A, hope that he starts to gain more policy knowledge and starts to explain things better.
Bang the heel of their hands on their foreheads and say, what in heaven's names were thinking when they elected this guy? Because he's so lightweight. Now, this is the age of Twitter, where 140 characters has replaced any kind of intellectual debate in many voters' minds. So it's entirely possible he'll be able to ride his intellectually light celebrity.
There's some smart people around him, but he certainly is not trained in economics or business or public policy. So he should listen to the people around him, settle on a realistic, credible, professional definition provided by experts, and then I hope people start saying, okay, now what do you propose to do?
Where he's got all the style, but he's got no substance. Even the messaging that they have chosen in his inner circle, it's wonderful. I mean, could they not have distanced themselves just a little bit to make it look like they even tried to get away from that kind of branding?
It's a facade. He says one thing, he does something completely different. You scratch away at the surface, and all of a sudden the truth comes out.
He hasn't admitted that it was a slip of the tongue, but it was certainly a slip of the brain.
Number one, in my opinion, he's totally incompetent to be prime minister. You go to any company in the world, couldn't he be the floor sweeper? Not to mention the prime minister. You have to be kidding. You look at his resume, it shows that he's weak. Let's talk policy. Let's wipe the veneer and let's look at his resume. His resume, he wouldn't be hired as a floor sweeper. He has never seen a profit and loss statement in his entire life, and I just do not understand how he's capable. He's actually incompetent.
Ford missed 5 out of the 7 days that the legislature met. Since coming back after the holidays in February, Ford has been absent 6 out of the 10 days.
He's there for, very, few days as well, but he's the prime minister. I mean, he has a national obligation to be representing our country, and that's the view, I suppose, the upside of being in government. You have ministers there who are responsible and can help out.
Look, we've not heard him speak on any other policy priorities. This seems to be his priority, focusing on. It's important that we focus on the economy. We've got our prime minister up in the north right now, working on creating jobs, creating growth, and that is where our focus is as a government. That is where it is going to stay. Clearly shows his lack of judgment. It clearly shows that he's not ready to govern this country. It clearly shows he's in over his head. We need to hear from him what his priorities are on some of the other areas, because that's where we're focused. And I think to be focused on this issue clearly shows he lacks that judgment.
Without talking about the implications on people's health, that study that I just mentioned about schizophrenia, I think that that's irresponsible and frankly offside with where mainstream Canadians are at.
Is breaking fundraising rules. The media knows it, the public knows it. Is there anyone on that side of the House who has the courage to stand up for what is right, to stop this corrupt fundraising?
One thing I've learned in politics is it's much easier to tell a simple lie than a complicated truth. As Mark Twain said, sometimes the lie can get halfway around the world before the truth can put its boots on that.
If you're careless with the small stuff, you're also going to be careless with the big stuff. So if you can't manage to kind of
follow the rules that are set out with the declaration or spending of smaller amounts of taxpayer funds, chances are you're not going to be handling the big stuff well. He's careless with the small stuff. He's careless with taxpayer money.
That's not true.
And he's careless with the big amounts as well as the small amounts.
Okay, Brad?
It's all perception. It's all, and it's perspective. And I think this has been grossly blown out of proportion.
No, but now it's all at speculation stage. So let's get on with it. Give it to the Integrity Commissioner, I think, and NDP asking for a full public inquiry. Look, this isn't international warfare that we're trying to get figured out here. Get the Integrity Commissioner's ruling and move on with it.
This is just a travesty. I think it is a travesty of justice. I mean, it's like, as I said in my column the first day, it's like hitting a flea with a sledgehammer.
Constitutionally, they could literally appoint any of us. They could appoint any of the camera techs working behind the scenes. None of us are qualified, but that's the way the law is written. It would still have been legal.
This is unbelievable, Mr. Speaker, and there can only be one conclusion drawn. Solutions to important problems are decided not by party committee, but by one individual. Well, you know who said that? Chinese dictator Chairman Mao. Well, you know what? Canada is not China. Canada is not a dictatorship. So maybe he could do Canadians a favor, go take another vacation, and don't come back until he's ready to stop acting like those dictators. What gives him the right to silence anyone who dares criticize him? What gives him the right to trample all over this House of Commons? At a minimum, will he allow his backbenchers a free vote on this motion that affects them so directly, or is he going to trample all over your rights too?
The Prime Minister is barred from flying commercial because of security reasons. So what was he supposed to do? Stuff himself in a station wagon and carpool it down to Boston with a bunch of the boys already liquored up and wobbly pops? No, he gets there the only way he can under the rules which apply when one is Prime Minister of Canada. He took the Challenger jet, as with the mandatory security team. So where is the foul? Where is the penalty? Under the rules, it would have paid out of his own pocket the equivalent of what it would cost to fly commercially. And what remained, of course, was picked up by you and me, the taxpayer. And I do not begrudge a dime of it.
Plenty of baggage of his own, and I don't think that his baggage has suffered the scrutiny, certainly, I've watched him be beat up on year in and year out, laughed at, poked fun at, every little thing they could find. I watched the Integrity Commissioner go after him numerous times. No one's had the scrutiny that he has.